What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Corona Zombies. Alright, I know that sounds like a crazy title. Probably a lot of you are not familiar with this movie and you're probably thinking like, Corona Zombies, is that a real movie? Are you trolling me? It is a real movie. When I first saw it, actually, I had the same reaction. I was like, what the heck, this cannot be real. And initially I saw the cover and I thought it looked like pretty whack, but then I found out it was a full moon movie, and I'm a fan of full moon movies, so this has always been in the back of my mind, one that I've wanted to check out. I saw the trailer a couple times, like probably like a year ago or something, and I'm like, all right, this is right up my alley. Um, yeah, so I've wanted to check this out, but the reason I initially didn't want to check it out is because the cover was just so like cheap looking. Like it looked like someone just made it on, you know, their computer, like some someone who was just like starting out in graphic design made it for like $5. And I know like graphic design is super hard and making a cover is super hard, so I'm not hating. But I mean, like with movies, you kind of do judge the book by its cover. You judge the movie by its cover, So if the cover looks really cheap, you're like, I don't want to waste my time with this. So like, yeah, initially I saw the cover and I'm like, Corona Zombies. Like initially I thought it sounded kind of silly, but I like silly movies like that, like schlocky B movies, silly stuff, weird concepts like that. So, but like it was just because it was the cover, man. It was the cover. It just turned me off. I'm like, this looks super cheap. Um, but yeah, then like I said, I found out it was full moon. I've been wanting to check it out. Finally checked it out, and here's the deal with this. Okay, um, it had a lot going for it, and I mean, the thing is, they had to use a lot of footage from other movies, and the new footage that they shot was like really limited. I get it, They put it out in 2020. In 2020 they had all those restrictions where, you know, film companies and film crews couldn't really film anything. Like they legally just couldn't do it, so they had to like work their way around that with just like filming a little bit and adding all this footage from other movies. And the coronavirus was at its peak in 2020, so like they had to rush to get this done in 2020. I get it, but like all the extra footage, like when I watched the trailer, I thought that it was going to be like, okay, there's some footage from other movies cuz they weren't able to film as much as they would like, you know. But yeah, I thought there was just gonna be a little, but it was like the entire movie was just footage from other movies, and it was funny, but it was, I don't know, that just kind of bothered me. So, and the new footage, it was just like this girl in a house. I mean, I liked her character; she was funny and stuff, but it was there wasn't enough going on in this movie to like keep me entertained. Like there was quite a few funny moments, and the stuff where they're like poking fun at the coronavirus was hilarious, and it was kind of ballsy in my opinion. Like this movie was not playing it safe. They were just going all out, just totally, you know, making fun of coronavirus. Like in good taste. They didn't say anything crazy, but I mean, I feel like a lot of like filmmakers would be scared to do that, but I mean, this movie had balls. But yeah, like I said, like I was excited to see this. It had a lot going for it, but like overall, I really didn't have that great of time with it. Like other than those funny moments here and there, like the overall movie was just pretty boring in my opinion. and it dragged, which is surprising because it's literally only 1 hour. But I was like, like during like especially during like the third act, I was just like, okay, like when is this gonna end? Like let's wrap it up. Come on now. So yeah, my overall thoughts about this are, you know, it wasn't that great. And that's the thing with full moon movies. I'm a fan of full moon movies, but for me personally, they're hit or miss. I don't love every single full moon movies. Every every single full moon movie. I made it plural. I don't know. I don't know how to speak English sometimes in these videos, but anyways, yeah, I like some full moon movies, but some of them I think are super boring. So yeah, this was the case where I wasn't a huge fan of this one. But there was quite a bit that I liked. I'll get into my likes, but first I'm gonna give you all a little plot summary. So there's this girl Barbie. She just got back from grocery shopping, and you know everyone was in a frenzy. There was no toilet paper. People were getting in fights over food and whatnot. And her friend calls her up and she's like, flip on the news. And then she finds out that you know, people who are getting coronavirus are turning into corona zombies. So that's that. She starts freaking out. And then while, you know, she's at her house freaking out, trying to prepare, it cuts to a couple different scenarios. So also, like, there's like multiple stories going on. So like we follow her story, and then also we follow these soldiers who are, you know, just taking out corona zombies. And that's actually redubbed footage from the movie Hell of the Living Dead, which I've never seen, but the redubbed footage was funny, but it just like got old for me because it was just I was like, this is the whole movie is just this other movie. Like initially it was like super funny, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. They're just like dubbing over some older movie that's like what's up. But it got like old pretty fast in my opinion. And then the third storyline going on is, you know, there's some corona zombies attacking all these strippers and people at a strip club, and that is just footage from the movie Zombies versus Strippers. So yeah, the majority of this movie is just footage from other movies, which yeah, that it was too much in my opinion. I mean, it was funny at first, but too much. All right, so that's the basic plot summary. So now I'm gonna jump into my likes. The first like is the way that the coronavirus spread in this storyline is this soup factory. They were making bat soup, and you know, like I think that was one of the stories I've heard, like how coronavirus started. It was like some people like were eating some bats in some market or something like that. But anyways, it's funny, they show like B-roll of just a bunch of bats flying, and then yeah, they're like talking about they're in like this soup factory. I don't know if it really is because it's from that one movie, the Hell of the Living Dead, but they were talking about like the bat soup and it got contaminated and blah blah blah. So that was extremely hilarious. I love that. Another like is just the overall concept. I mean, someone had to do it, make a coronavirus zombie movie. I mean, and like it's pretty impressive that they put it out in 2020. I mean, they definitely went hard. Super unique concept. I don't know why no one else, you know, thought of it. Super cool. You know, just a solid concept. So there's like a lot of real news clips. They have like they're pretty like famous clips. I feel like you all might have seen them. There's like all these kids on spring break, and they're like, man, if I get coronavirus, I get coronavirus. It's whatever. He's like, I'm not gonna let this stop my partying. I'm gonna just keep on partying. Like, they just had all those, just hilarious news clips. I really enjoyed that. That was another positive for me. There's this one line stood out to me. So there was when it's the Hell of the Living Dead footage that's dubbed over. There's this sequence of this one guy and this woman, and I forgot the line exactly, but I think like the woman's like, "Are you flirting with me right now?" And then the guy's like, "Yeah, don't get all Me Too on me." I don't know. I just thought that was a really funny line. I like that. A lot of the like dubbed over lines were really funny. Um, Another like is the main girl in like the actual new footage, Barbie. I thought she was pretty funny. Like her friend calls her up and she's like, "Watch the news," and she's like, "News?" More like "ews." Like she's like, "Man, I'm not trying to watch the news," which I feel her on that one. I mean, sometimes, but like sometimes it's just a lot of craziness. I would just rather watch a movie, which might sound ignorant, but whatever. And then yeah, she was like talking about what she like ran out of toilet paper, and she's like, "I'm just gonna get like a hose and run it through my bathroom." And her friend's like, "No," and then she's like, "What kind of food do you have at the house?" She's like, "Well, I got some like pizza pockets and some Skittles." So yeah, that she was like a pretty darn funny character. I wish there was more of her, but it is what it is. Yeah, just this is another like I thought the dialogue overall throughout the entire movie for the most part was pretty darn funny. It was on point. It was a good time. Um, and then I just like wrote some examples here. So in the dubbed over Hella Living Dead footage, the soldiers are always saying stuff. They're like 6 feet back. They're like, I think the one guy, he's like, "What? Haven't you ever heard of social distancing?" Like they're just it's just funny. Maybe the way I'm explaining it doesn't sound that funny, but if you're watching the movie, it's pretty funny. All right. So yeah, and then the last thing for my positives is that I feel like I've said this a couple times. It's cool that they put it out in 2020. They used a lot of older footage. They did what they had to do. I think it's super resourceful of them. I think the concept is unique, and they like did what they had to do to put it out in 2020, because that's like the peak of it. That's like the perfect time to put something like this out, and they did. And I think, I think they went hard in that regard. It's just it's pretty cool that they were able to like, cause like making a movie like it's a long process, like all the pre-production and then actually shooting it and post-production, like to do all of that and actually get it out in 2020, like that's a lot of work, and even like the redubbing, even though like they didn't film a lot of new stuff, like doing all the dubbing and blah blah blah, and they gotta mix and master and whatever, like it probably took a lot of time. So I mean, they got this thing out quick, so that's cool. All right, now I'm on to my dislikes. I know I had a lot of likes. Like I said, this movie did have a lot going for it, but the dislikes kind of outweighed the likes, where it's just like overall the movie was just pretty darn boring. So the main dislike that I have is that it's there's just too much footage from the other movies and barely any new footage. Like I said, I liked that new character Barbie. I wish they followed her more, and I liked the Hella Living Dead footage and the what is it, zombies versus strippers footage, but it was like too much. I'm like, they're gonna go back to this again. Like I thought there was more. Like when I watched the trailer, I thought there was more of an actual new story, not just like dubbed over older movies. So yeah, that was like irritating me. Like I said, I get why they had to do it. That they made this in 2020. They couldn't film that much. I get why they had to do it, but me as a viewer, and just talking about overall enjoyment, like that brought my enjoyment down overall. Yeah, and then in the new footage, like nothing really happened. It's just like the the girl Barbie, she's just like in her house on the phone watching the news, and then there's like a zombie at the end, like one zombie in her garage, like nothing really happened. Um, I mean, yeah, this movie was kind of boring. Like there was some funny dialogue, some you know some good satire of the whole coronavirus situation, but I mean overall the movie was just pretty darn dull, pretty darn boring. It just I wasn't that engaged. Like I'd be like, oh, that's a funny moment, but then it's like overall I'm like would I watch this movie again? Probably not. Um, and then I think I definitely already said this, but I mean I wrote it in my dislike, so I'm just gonna say it again. Uh, the movie's only an hour. Like I really shouldn't like think like when is this gonna be over, or like man this feels like it's dragging, but like yeah this thing just totally dragged for me. It's like the pacing is not the best, and like I said, it's just the older movie footage, it gets old. It's like alright, like there's no new movie here, like they're just dubbing over an older like it just it's weird for an hour movie to like feel like it's too long, but it felt like it was too long and it was only an hour. I don't know, like I know that sounds contradictory, it doesn't make any sense, but that's how I felt when I was watching it. Um, yeah, so that's my last dislike. I'm just gonna get into a little, recommendation, or like I won't recommend it, but yeah, basically I'm gonna get into that, and then I'm gonna wrap things up. So to be honest, I would not recommend this. I personally just didn't have that great of a time with it, so um, yeah, I would say don't check it out. It was just kind of a waste of time in my opinion. Not one of the best full moon movies I've seen, but it was a cool concept. Like I'm personally glad that I checked it out. I wanted to check it out, but yeah, I would just recommend you watch a different movie from Full Moon Features and skip this one. So that has been my review for Corona Zombies. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.